Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. Today's video is another journal with me. I feel like I just said that really weird. Did I say journal with me? Really weird. It did not sound right to me when it came out of my mouth. But anyway, the first spread is for my archive journal and it's a little different than my normal spreads. I think that if you've seen any of my videos, you would know usually I split the page into two because obviously there are 2 pages in a journal spread, but I usually split it like that and the whole thing is just about one subject. But I kind of thought it would be interesting to make each page about something different, so that's what I tried to do for this spread. As you can see, I used the chartreuse striped background from my deco kit that I talked about in my last video. I will keep the link to the Google Drive folder with the stationery items I made in all of my videos from now on. That way you can easily access them. But I used that on one side of the spread, and then on the other one I used a blue starry wallpaper that I saw on Pinterest. And then I used a heart frame and I added a pink piece of notebook paper to that. And then I used these fan-made memo sheets. I was looking through my camera roll and I found these Doyoung themed memo notes from literally 2020. Well, that's when I downloaded them anyway. I might have found them on Twitter even in a different year. The fan artist's handle was written at the bottom of these memo sheets, so I should be able to find their account again. I'm also using this fan art of Eunho that I saw on Twitter, so I'll link that tweet below as well. I think that's such a cute sticker sheet. I wonder if they actually had stickers made and handed them out at a cafe event. I think that's so sweet that fans do stuff like that because that has to be kind of expensive, right? So it was Eunho's birthday on May 24th and then Doyoung's first concert was on May 25th. And I didn't really have a lot to say about either event, but I still wanted to note them in my archive journal. As I'm recording this, I actually still have not watched Eunho's birthday live. I don't know why not. I've kind of gotten out of the habit of watching Plav's lives. I don't know why, but I've kind of gotten out of the habit of it, so I really want to go watch that. You know what I think really is the problem is that the subtitles that they generate, they're just AI generated, so they're not quite accurate. There are a lot of really generous fan translators though, so I do watch their videos too. And then as far as Doyoung, his first concert, I haven't seen that many clips from it yet, but oh my god, did everyone see the DY track segment? That was so funny. If you're not into K-pop or if you don't know anything about NCT, Doyoung is one of their main vocalists, and he did this segment at his concert where it kind of looked like a Killing Voice video, and he rapped. He rapped some of the most famous parts of NCT songs. I was howling. I could not even believe it. I was like, sign me up for the Doyoung rap album. The faces he were making were cracking me up. I really, really, really wish Taeyong could have been there. Like, he would have died. In addition to the panda and star stickers that I added, I really wanted to talk about these Hello Kitty stickers because I think I used them in my last video where I was showing all of my new stationery items, and so I didn't get to talk about them because I was doing the Q&A. But I love, 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 love these Hello Kitty stickers. They're some jelly, epoxy. I always want to say jelly first. They're epoxy stickers and they're kind of summer themed to me. Like there's an ice cream cone and the Hello Kitty herself is kind of like green and pink and blue. There's one where she's holding a pineapple. Oh, I think I used that one where she's holding a pineapple in my vlog whenever I was doing my wearing versus styling section of my last vlog. I have so many summer items I want to use. I think I already said this in another video, but I'm so excited to start using them. But yeah, I love those stickers. But yeah, I ended up really enjoying how splitting up one spread into 2 different subjects looked. I mean, I kind of combined them a little bit. They're kind of overflowing into each other, but I like that. I'll definitely have to try that more from now on. The next spread is also for my archive journal, and this one is for Espa's Armageddon album coming out. I feel like next year I might make a journal just for albums that come out, just for like music. I don't know though, that might be too much pressure because sometimes music comes out and I'll really like an album, but like I don't necessarily want to make a spread about it, right? I'm using so many fun things in this spread. So the background is this magazine. I feel like I've seen sort of this stuff around before, like these dolls around before. It's called Pinky Street. I don't know if this was like famous at one point and I just never heard of it, but to me it kind of looks like these dolls that were popular in Japan in the 2000s. That's kind of what it looks like to me. They have a lot of really cute outfits on them though. And then for the other side of the spread, because I really didn't have that much to write about Espa's album, so I knew I needed to take up kind of like both sides, I'm using, I don't know who this character is or if this character is relevant to anything, but she's so cute. I love her. She looks like a little magical girl's like friend or something, right? It just looks like it's some kind of printable that you can, I don't know what it would be. Is it sort of like a, maybe it's like a note card? I can see the fold lines and the cut lines on it. So yeah, maybe it's something like a note card. I feel like Sunwon Bird's art goes really well with this kind of color palette and aesthetic in general. Espa's album was kind of alien themed. So I'm using these Sunwon Bird stickers that I found on Pinterest, as well as this bigger art piece. I don't know if this is, it says sample on it. So I don't know, is this like a sticker sheet maybe? I'm not sure. And I also found this Sanrio memo sheet. I have no clue who this character is. I'm probably gonna have to like reverse image search this because it says 2002 Sanrio at the bottom of that. So like that's an old character. I have no idea who that is, but I thought it worked really well with this spread. So let me talk about Armageddon real quick. I am absolutely obsessed with the concept of it. I told myself I'm not gonna be buying a bunch of K-pop albums, but I do have an allowance to myself that I can buy at least one album from all of my favorite groups, and I don't have an Espa album yet because first of all, I really want Savage, the one like the case version, the what is it, Port of Souls? I don't know what it's called, but I'm like, where am I gonna put it? So that's why I've never bought that. And then I really wanted the Target exclusive version of My World, but I never got around to getting it because I was like, oh, it'll be there forever. And I was waiting for the buy two get one sale that they do all the time, and it was gone. I could not believe that. Like, yeah, of course it says limited edition, but I don't know about you, but anytime something says limited edition at Target, it's there for forever. The albums are. So I like did not think it would actually go away. So now I'm really mad at myself. So I'm gonna have to buy that secondhand at some point in my life. But I love this concept so much. I've seen it described as so many different things like analog horror and like old like Y2K conspiracy theory. I love it though. I don't know what exactly to call it, but I absolutely love it. I really want the zine version where it has all the like conspiracy theory, like old web looking, old internet, I guess I should say, looking like graphics. I love that. And I also love the one that has like the spiral rings on the side of it. Yeah, I don't know if there's going to be a Target exclusive version for this album. I might need to look that up. But yeah, I love the concept. I'm an alien girl, I think. Look, even the album artwork, look at it. It's a crop circle. I love that so much. I love lore in general, any kind of storytelling lore within K-pop. The next spread and the next couple spreads are for my reading journal. I've had a lot more time to read recently. Not that I normally have time, I'm just really bad at managing my time. But at the end of May, I posted my vlog. Of course, I was supposed to vlog at the end of the months. And when I did that, it was a Friday. So I was like, whoa, I have the weekend free. Because normally I'm finishing up editing the videos on Fridays and Saturdays because I post them on Sundays usually. And I was like, what am I going to do with all this free time? And I decided to read, of course, some BL mangas. This one is called Nagahama, To Be or Not to Be. And it's published by Seven Seas. And I swear I don't think I read a manga by them. I've read some volumes of Heaven Official's Blessing, of course, which is a novel, but I don't think I've read a manga translated by them. So I was interested to see like how the translation would be and everything. So it's kind of a youthful story. The main character, he like obviously has feelings for his best friend, and his best friend like won't come to school. They're kind of both delinquents in their own way, but his best friend like won't come to school because he works at this like fish market, and that's where he wants to work. He doesn't want to come to school. He wants to work at this fish market. And yeah, it's pretty much just kids being kids, falling in love. I think it's really cute. Their interactions were so wholesome. I feel like it's been a long time since I've seen a manga where like the interactions were really cute. I don't know how to explain it, but like, you know, like hair ruffles and stuff like that. There were a lot of cute interactions. And I like that it was kind of like summery in vibe, at least at the beginning anyway, because as I said, I've really been wanting to use a bunch of summer stuff in my spreads lately. So this kind of gave me the opportunity to do that. The main points of this spread are the Mamegoma wallpaper, the Sumiko Gurashi art, and then the memo note that has Mapu on it. And on top of that memo note, I layered a hibiscus I found on Canva. There are so many to choose from. And I just lowered the transparency so that it would look like it was part of the memo note. It also helped really tie in with everything else because I feel like the other art was very blue and it looked like there was kind of a large white space there. So just adding that hibiscus, it really pulled everything together well. The next spread is about a manga called Family Now and Forever. It's fan translated, so I'm not sure if that's the proper English title, but that's the one that they gave it. It took me forever to figure out how I wanted this spread to look, but I wanted to use this starry wallpaper because the colors in it were just so perfect with the cover of the manga, and it just looked so summery. I feel like I saw, this is so random, but I feel like I saw this like special Sunny D flavor the other day, and I swear the bottle was like red and blue and yellow. I don't know what flavor it was, but it looked really good. But those colors were so hard to match for some reason. I don't know why. I just felt like nothing looked right with them. And also I really wanted to use this artwork with the houses because I felt like this manga is about a family and a family is a home. So I really wanted to use these houses. This manga has one of my absolute favorite tropes, which is an established relationship. As much as I love seeing people fall in love, there's also something so fun about two people just already, like, their love story has already happened. And also technically with this story, it's set in the present, but then it also, like, there are flashbacks to the past, so you kind of see how the two characters got together. And that's something else I love. I love flashbacks. I think that's so fun to tell a story like that. And anyway, they have a baby, and you're not sure, like, where did this kid come from? I guess I shouldn't call him a baby. He's like a toddler. But you're like, where did this kid come from? And it's actually not explained at all in the first volume. There are going to be more volumes, or at least I guess another volume. So I'm really excited to know, where did this child come from? This spread is also for my reading journal, and it's for the book In Memoriam by Alice Wynne. So this book begins with two best friends. One is named Henry Gaunt, the other is named Sydney Elwood. They go to like a fancy private boys' school, like something like Eton, and they're kind of just living out their normal student days when suddenly World War I breaks out. Gaunt does not want to go fight in the war. He does not even see why this war should be happening. He doesn't believe in this war. Whereas Elwood, he really wants to fight. Like, he's been playing and pretending to be a soldier like his whole entire life, right? Like, since he was a kid, and he's like, now's the chance to, you know, go be honorable and serve my country, etc. Well, Gaunt's mother is from Germany, so he's half German, and his uncle has been accused of being a German spy. And because of that, his father is under suspicion at the bank he works at. And also someone has thrown a brick through like their front window at their house. So his mom and his sister come to visit him on his 18th birthday. And they're like, hey, you kind of need to go fight in the war because people are looking at us sideways and they think that we're traitors. So if we have a son and when he gets sent to the front, nobody can say anything because we have a kid fighting in the war. So that's how Gaunt ends up in World War I. And then you start getting a lot of flashbacks in general throughout the whole entire book, and you see Gaunt and Elwood's relationship. And they're really not just friends. They clearly both have feelings for each other, but they're like, I guess I would say they're both each other's blind spot because neither of them knows that the other has like deep feelings for him. Like, they're in love with each other. And then of course they start sending each other letters back and forth. Elwood is kind of telling Gaunt what's going on at school, whereas obviously Gaunt is in a war and it's horrific. It's not even fathomable what's going on there. And in one of his letters, Gaunt tells Elwood that he really wishes he could see him at least one last time before he dies. And Elwood is like, yo, I gotta quit school. I've got to go to the war. Gaunt needs me. Like, he doesn't sound like himself. I gotta go. And that's how Elwood ends up in the war. And from there, you see the way Elwood finally understands like what the war really is like and how terrible it is, how gory and disgusting and scary and sad it is. And the two of them have to try to survive the war. And that's what the story is about. It was so nerve-wracking and heart-wrenching. It was so sad. I never cried or anything, but it was sad. Like, it really was like, it hurt. I felt it in my chest. I really had never spent a minute of my life thinking about World War I other than probably like in history class. And that's another thing I was thinking about while I was reading this, is that we learn about history, I guess at least in America, in such a detached and sanitized way. Like, I could have told you the inciting incident of World War I, but I couldn't have told you a single other thing about it before I read this book. And maybe that's because America joined in late. I don't know. I feel like the way we learn things in general is just so that we can take a test, right? Like, we're supposed to just like intake this information within a week, maybe two, and then regurgitate it onto a test, and that's it. We move on. But anyway, I think if you like The Song of Achilles, you would probably enjoy In Memoriam. It has kind of a similar, oh, they're doomed vibe to it. Actually, in Memoriam, there's parts where they talk about Achilles and Hector, and I was like, please, I'm not over it. There were really just a lot of subjects in this book that I liked, especially like the talk about imperialism. Also, the main characters are both rich, so they have a lot of privileges, and then obviously the fact that they're both gay, and it was illegal to be gay then, and it could really like ruin your whole entire life, of course, or so often men would just have wives anyway. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned, it's hilarious. You would not think a book about war and all of like the terror that comes along with it would be so funny, but it's hilarious. All the characters, I guess, like all the main characters, most of them are rich prep school boys, and they just kind of behave like that. It has like this very old-fashioned kind of humor. I don't really know how to explain it, but all of the characters really have a good sense of humor to them. Elwood really quotes poetry a lot, and I was like, oh, he's so me. When I was younger, I don't know why, but when I was younger, like maybe like 12, 13, like I was still a child, I loved memorizing like lines from Shakespeare plays or just poetry in general. So hearing Elwood quote stuff all the time, I was like, yeah, I get it. My favorite poets are Sylvia Plath, of course, Anne Sexton, and probably T.S. Eliot, but reading this book made me feel like I need to read more of the classic. So I literally have 4 tabs, I think, open right now of poems that were in the book because I want to read them more closely. Elwood specifically really likes Tennyson. Isn't that Ben 10's last name? Ben Tennyson. Also, towards like the later half of the book, Elwood quotes Ozymandias, and that is one of my favorite ever poems. It's by Percy Shelley. I just thought it was so fitting at the scene that it happened in. Part of that poem says, nothing beside remains, and like war takes everything, right? But I know that there are people that don't like poetry. That's impossible for me to believe. I don't even understand how you put those words together in a sentence. How do you not like poetry? What? But I don't think it distracted from the story. If you've ever read We Were Villains, like that's very Shakespeare heavy, but I feel like it's not the same extent as that. This cover is definitely the superior cover. It's the one that just came out this year. So when I get myself a copy, it's definitely going to be this paperback version. I think this is gorgeous. And the author said that the painting on the front is by an artist who used to paint men in World War I. He used to paint portraits, I guess. And I think he even painted a famous poet or an author or something like that. I thought that was so fitting. I'm sorry I didn't talk about anything I did in this spread at all. I was just talking about the plot. But I also really wanted to try adding screenshots from the book itself. I always read on my iPad anyway, and I was like, why not add some pages that I'd highlighted? And I think that turned out so good. I'd really been wanting to try that in a spread for a long time. I really like the look of that. And I feel like the final thing that really drew this spread together for me was that heart-shaped alphabet. I just found that on Pinterest, and the pen has a link to a Google Drive folder, and that's where I found the shooting star doodles as well. My favorite thing are those panda memo notes. Those are so cute. Per usual, everything that I use in my spreads will be in my journaling Pinterest board, and the link to my Pinterest board is in the description box. I forget to say that in a lot of videos. I absolutely love this spread. It's probably my favorite one in this entire video. And now that this spread is done, all that's left is to put everything into my journals. Thank you so much for watching today, everyone. I hope that you had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for all of your support, whether it be subscribing, commenting, liking the video, just watching the video. Thank you so much for being here. It really does mean a lot to me. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them. My Instagram and Pinterest and Twitter are all linked below. Somebody is driving a motorcycle past my house, if you can hear that. They're telling me to quit yapping. So I'll see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.